Alright, here we go. Got a little review for you here. What I've done is I've taken my objective sheets that I've used in the past and I've put them into a PowerPoint, and now I am talking to that PowerPoint. So on each one of these slides, it's going to start out with a list of vocabulary terms. Any and all of these vocabulary terms are open for you to be able to put onto your help sheet. So pick the ones that maybe you're not as strong with. Pick the ones that we talked about a lot more. You can go back and look at your exams. The ones that I chose to include in the exam are probably the ones that I think are a little bit more important, so you might want to make sure that you understand those. Numbers 2 through 8, those are examples of the types of things that you would need to know how to do. Obviously in this one we talked a lot about some basic how scientists and how chemists classify stuff, so you're going to be looking at the differences between pure substance, mixture, element, compound, heterogeneous, homogeneous, physical and chemical changes, physical and chemical properties, and then we also talked about variables within experiments, independent, dependent, control, things of that nature. Make sure you understand how to summarize graphs and tables. There'll be some questions about things like that. In the chapters that are listed here, that goes in that pair book that we have. Now, I didn't assign those to anybody. If you want to take one of those home to be able to get ready for the final exam, I'll be happy to check one of those out to you. Otherwise, you can use those in class. You can look at the practice problems that I've given you here in an attempt to be able to give yourself some more practice to remember some of the stuff that we did in Unit 1. Pause it if you need to. I'm moving on. Unit 2 just happens to be Chapter 2. This was all the math and data collection and analysis type stuff that we used for Unit 2. You can see all the vocab terms there once again. About the only thing we didn't talk about a ton in here would be converting between temperature units. That may show up on the practice exam. Make sure you know Celsius to Kelvin. It's a pretty easy conversion. You can look that up. There are a bunch of practice problems listed here as well. This is where the dimensional analysis piece comes into play, being able to use those conversion factors. Percent error, there is an equation. You should probably include that equation on your help sheet. Alright, Unit 3 was all about atomic structure, so we started out talking about some of the different people who contributed to that. We looked at protons, we looked at neutrons and electrons, we talked about mass number, atomic number, we looked at isotopes and average atomic mass. There's an equation for average atomic mass. You may want to include that one from your notes on your help sheet to make sure that you can calculate that. Make sure you have a list of what the different types of numbers are, mass number, atomic number, how to determine various things from the periodic table in terms of number of protons, neutrons, and electrons and things like that. Electron configuration also comes up here. So I'm going to allow you to bring in your regular periodic table for the final exam. Once again, your regular periodic table, not the super duper electron configuration one. So between your periodic table and your help sheet, you ought to be able to make sure that you know how to write those electron configurations. So if there's things you need to list on there, please do so. In terms of the 1s, 2s, 3s, all that good stuff. Once again, practice problems, chapters 4, 11, and 12. A lot of stuff in there that can help you out. Unit 4, pardon me, this is the one that we just got through with the take-home exam. Being able to correctly write formulas, looking at trends within the periodic table, anions, cations, polyatomic ions. All of the naming stuff comes in here. So make sure that you go back through and look at your Unit 4 exam. This one should be a little bit more fresh in your mind, hopefully. But nonetheless, any and everything that you want to write down, you should do so. In class today, I will make a list of all of the different polyatomic ions that I want you to know. So if I forget that and you're listening to this, remind me, please. Thank you. Once again, chapters 4, 11, and 12, I have some reading, I have some problems. You can go through the even ones. The answers are in the back of the book. Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff I'm giving you to be able to practice. You are welcome. Unit 5, so this is the one that we just have been working on here in the last week or so. You got to be able to go through and balance and classify and predict products for these reactions. So all the stuff we've been looking at here in the last few days. Hopefully this is really, really fresh in your head. You know, it's just been a week and a half, so there's not going to be a ton of it on the exam, but nonetheless, it's part of it. So you need to make sure you're looking through that. Here's some stuff, chapters 5, 6, and 7. You can go back and look through that. This also includes this particular objective sheet has some of the naming stuff on it, which we actually did in Unit 4, but you can kind of go back and forth and look at that and add those two together to make sure that you are covering everything. So, once again, vocab, equations, you know, if you want to put some examples of how to write formulas, if you want to put some rules for the 3 different types of names that we looked at, you can do that on your help sheet. You know, just go back through and look at your exams to know the types of things that I thought were a little more important than others. You know, I make the final. I made all your other tests. There's a good chance that I'm going to kind of carry on trends as we go through. So, if you have questions, as always, please ask. Otherwise, here is everything. You can flip back and forth between these. You can move back to different parts and make sure you get everything copied down. Lots of stuff for you to practice on. No reason that you shouldn't be able to find some time to do some stuff in class to get yourself ready for the final exam for this next week. See ya.